Hello people, welcome to YouTube channel. Today we talk about top 10 secret languages. Some secret languages exist in the world today, spoken and understood only by those in the know. These various secret tongues are employed by a diverse range of groups, including traditional healers, professional wrestlers, citizens of specific communities, and even criminals. Here are 10 secret languages explained in detail, complete with links to some dictionaries or converters we could find. Number 1 is Kalawaya. The Kalawaya language is exclusively spoken by members of the Kalawaya tribe of Bolivia. The Kalawayas, who reside in 6 villages in Bolivia's Apolobamba region, are traditional medical healers who use the language for healing purposes, although they sometimes use it in their day-to-day conversations. The Kalawaya language was derived from the Quechua language spoken by the Incas. It is not written down but rather passed orally from father to son or from an expert healer to his student. Children are exempted from learning Kalawaya, and it is only reserved for teenagers and adults who want to become traditional healers. It is rapidly disappearing and has less than 100 living speakers. Number 2 is Nushu. Nushu, which means women's writing, is a female-only language used by Chinese women. It originated in China's Hunan province around 15 BC, when women who were forbidden from getting an education formed and used it to secretly communicate among themselves. The language was a well-kept secret and only became known to the West in the 1980s. Some of its characters were derived from the Chinese language, while others were invented. Like Chinese, Nushu is written and read from top to bottom and from right to left. But unlike Chinese, its characters take up less space and contain more curved lines. The last proficient Nushu speaker was Yang Huanyi, who died at the age of 94 or 98 in 2004. Number 3 is Thieves Cant. Also called Rogues Cant or Peddlers French, Thieves Cant was a language favored for secret communication among thieves and beggars in several Anglophone countries, including Britain. Its use has heavily declined, although it is still used by gangs in the US and Britain. There are 2 versions of Thieves Cant, Simple Thieves Cant and Advanced Thieves Cant. Number 4 is Sword Speak. Sword Speak, gay lingo or gay speak is the secret language used by gays in the Philippines. It was formed due to the unfriendly attitude of the non-gay community toward gays. It is a mixture of English, Spanish, Japanese, and several native Philippine languages, including Tagalog, Cebuano, Waray, Bicolano, and Hiligaynon. Names of local and foreign politicians, celebrities, and brands are also adopted as words and given meanings in sword speak. Sword itself is Philippine slang for gay. Number 5 is Lunfardo. Prisoners in Argentina use Lunfardo to secretly communicate among themselves. The language, which was first used by members of the Buenos Aires lower class, contains words from languages like Spanish and Italian. It has over 5,000 words, and one of its mainstay is the use of verse, the switching of a word's syllables. Cafe, for instance, is pronounced fika. Lunfardo was popularized in Europe by the proliferation of tango music, which denoted it as a violent and sexual language. Number 6 is Carne. Professional wrestlers use Carne, or Carne talk, to speak among themselves, even if they're in front of an audience. It traces its origin to the beginning of professional wrestling, when carnivals workers, called carnies, used it to communicate during mock public wrestling matches. In Carne, ease, which is pronounced eeas, is added before the vowel of every syllable. So, is becomes easies, and Kelly becomes Kizeliazi. Besides adding ease to English words, Carne contains several slang words, like Andre Shot, which is named after Andre the Giant. It refers to the exaggeration of the physique of a wrestler by taking shots from specific angles. Number 7 is Buntaling. Buntaling is the unofficial language of Boonville, California, where it has been spoken since between 1880 and 1920. It is a mixture of several Native American languages, Spanish, and slang words created by locals. One reason Buntaling remains confined to Boonville is because of these slang words, which locals fear outsiders will use to mock them, as they were formed from the names and characteristics of the locals. Number 8 is leet. Leet speak, or hack speak works by replacing individual letters in a word with a single number, symbol, or group of numbers or symbols that resembles the letter. For instance, hacker is spelled -at K3R, where dash represents H, at represents A, K represents CK, 3 represents E, and R remains unchanged. Leet was started by an elite hacker group in the 1980s. They used it to pass secret messages among members. Number 9 is Pig Latin. Children, and sometimes adults, use Pig Latin, which is formed by altering words of the English language, to secretly communicate among themselves. It was first used around 1869 and has been called other names, like Hog Latin, Goose Latin and Dog Latin. Some Pig Latin words like ixnay, which was derived from the word nix, and mscray, which was derived from the word scram, have been adopted into the English language. Number 10 is Polare. Polare started off as a means of communication among British sailors in the 19th century but became the unofficial language of British gays between the 1930s and 1960s, when being gay was illegal in Britain. Polare allowed gays to secretly talk with themselves and strike conversations with strangers they felt were gay. If the stranger replied, they knew he was game, but if he did not, they continued minding their business all without giving a clue to their sexuality. In Polare, sex is called trade, while cottaging refers to the act of looking for partners in bathrooms.